How you doing, good people? This is the 8-bit animal, and y'all know Pokemon, right? Everybody, most people who don't even mess with Pokemon, like myself, know about Pokemon. Well, Pokemon was conceived and originally created by a company called Game Freak, and today's game is the debut release from Game Freak. It started out as essentially company founder Satoshi Tajiri wanting to just write a love letter to arcade games, because dude loved arcade games, particularly Xevious. And while this is a bit different from Xevious, it's not different from a lot of the arcade games that he was playing at the time. And so he loved Xevious so much that he wanted his first game to be published by Namco on the Famicom. Alright, well and good. That happened. Some things had to be changed around, and after changing the box art to remove some of the cutesiness from the exterior advertising for the game, it got released on the NES by Hudson Soft. But it's still, at its core, a really good love letter to the arcade games of the early 80s. This game was published on the NES in America in 1990, and honestly, gameplay-wise, it still holds up today. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Mendel Palace. Now, Mendel Palace is just a standard single screen action arcade title, right? It's, you get rid of all the enemies on the screen and you move to the next level. It's pretty simple. And at its core, it feels a lot like stuff like Capcom's Pirate Ship Higemaru or Kung Fu Heroes, stuff like that. You play as a guy named Bonbon, who is attempting to rescue his girlfriend, Princess Candy, from her own dreams. The Japanese version of the game, the storyline is a little bit different, but the storyline on both of these games is kind of inconsequential. In the Japanese version of the game, you play as a guy named Carton, who's trying to rescue his girlfriend Jenny from his younger sister Quinty, who has kidnapped her because she's jealous of the attention that that Jenny's getting. It's kind of wild to me. But anyway, the gameplay is simple though. Each level is a 5x7 square, right? And you are faced with a bunch of enemies, and the floor is a bunch of different tiles. Well, you flip the tiles, kind of like playing cards. I know, right? But you flip the tiles to push enemies up against the wall. You get them up against the wall, they're defeated. You get all of the enemies off the screen, you move to the next level. With this mechanic though, you can reveal different tiles that are like bonuses. You collect a bunch of stars in each stage. You can get bonuses for that. There are tiles that have waves on them that push enemies, that fire these waves that flip tiles in a straight line in 4 directions that'll get rid of enemies. There are warp tiles that'll move you to a different part of the room, stuff like that. And again, this all feels really familiar when you play it, especially if you've gotten to play stuff like Kung Fu Heroes, which came out about a year or two. But either way, this is a really simple game as far as its premise and design. As far as gameplay, it's simple but addictive and kind of challenging. And yeah, you can't really beat that. It's a simple formula that works really, really well. And I don't see any problem with what's happening in this video game at all. Now, if you decide you want a copy of Mendel Palace, this baby kind of cheap. You can get a copy for about $20, which ain't bad considering that a lot of copies of this game weren't sold. I think this moved less than 100,000 units. So the fact that you can get loose carts for about 20 in this economy, pretty solid. I would gladly run out and grab a copy of this. It's a really fun game, a really good addition to your collection. And yeah, if you're collecting a full set of Hudson games, which that's something I never hear anybody saying, it'll be a great pickup for you then too. But this has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. A board game from the 1880s. Modernized by a Japanese dude in the 70s that gave it a name based on a Shakespearean play. This gotta be questionable, right?